All right.
Did you get my email?
My son-in-law.
Do you read your email regularly? Excellent. Good to know.
And his
I got an email about this meeting and I want to talk about something.
No, she's like,
No.
if they get sick, who goes to their house and stays there.
Okay.
All right, are we all set to go? Let's,
This is social services. Do you have more conservation? Thank you.
does anybody have comments on the...
I can't do it without it.
Do you have to call the meeting?
I have a 2-year-old.
I did.
I missed
Does
that.
everyone have minutes? I mean the agenda?
Anyone need an agenda?
Okay, does anybody have any comments on the previous meeting minutes? Have a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
Gil, thank you. Second?
Hey, Ralph. That's not the right one. Which one are you looking for?
All in favor of approving the minutes?
We have a skinny one.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, approved. All right. Item number 1, resolution number 180, public hearing on proposed local law number J. Are you...
So I wrote a letter in response to Global. They responded to me recently saying that they are going to look over things and get back to me. I'm still waiting to hear. So hopefully next month I'll have an update.
Okay, so at this point, we're going to...
I'm going to table
We're
it. Table this and the local law.
And number 2. Yeah. Okay. Item number 3, local law N. That is the local law for the County of Albany, New York, amending section 1101 of the Albany County Charter and local law number 8 for 1993 as subsequently amended to promote the hiring of an economic development director. And I understand the sponsor seeks to table that as well. Should I hear that?
Excellent.
Public hearing tonight.
Public hearing, sorry. Yeah. Item number 4, resolution 337, update and create an Albany County master waterfront plan to promote travel, tourism, recreation, and waterfront development on the Hudson and Mohawk Rivers in Albany County. I believe the sponsor wants to table that.
Yes, table request. My request. I'm still working over some language with our majority council, so we should hopefully have an updated version for this committee to review next month.
All right. Item number 5, resolution number 377, requesting the Albany County Executive to conduct a feasibility study regarding composting services throughout Albany County.
Yes, sir.
We're actually going to have a discussion on this item. All right, go ahead, Ralph.
Looking for the county executive to see if it is possible for us to do it. Site location, cost, different things along that line, and report back to the legislature. I think that this is something that we should investigate, seeing as we don't have the staff as the legislature. I offer this up to the county executive, and if there's any thoughts, comments, criticisms, suggestions, I'm open. I'm looking to move this with a favorable recommendation, as it is only a feasibility study to see if it is possible. That's pretty much what I got. And
any comments?
Just a quick comment. Love the idea.
Love to have you as a sponsor and support it with a favorable recommendation.
Yeah, I'm getting there, sure. I know that there are outfits in other counties that do this, and they would hope that also would be considered during the feasibility study, that if, trucking elsewhere is more cost effective or processing it here is more cost effective, just to keep an open mind.
Absolutely, I'm sure that there's we can include that in. If you wanted to put a whereas clause, I'd be open to that. And where we have the executive staff that they can carry that back to the executive. So it's entirely up to you.
I'd like to be added as a sponsor.
Me too, although I'd rather we just say do it, rather than see if you can do it. Just do it.
Well, they do need to see if
Bill?
we can do
I
it.
know the steps.
I make a motion, we send out a favorable recommendation.
Well, let's wait till we have the discussion.
May I be added to?
Yeah. Any other comments or questions?
Yeah, did you connect this to the anaerobic digester at all?
I did not. I figured I would leave that to the executive. I know when we were drafting that was one of the points that Brandon brought up. Mr. Russell, said that would be a good thing because with all of the Yeah, not pharmacies, all of the supermarkets that, have all their produce, blah, 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 blah. It's just a great thing that we could wind up doing. And again, if you want to add something to this,
Yes, I would like to, and I'd like to go on as a sponsor.
and if you want to include something, open to the amendment that this committee would add on, tying it into the anaerobic digester and everything along that line, I gracefully accept, and I leave that to council to draft.
Just as a point of reference, there was a conversation with Mr. Murphy regarding the anaerobic digester and how it would be applicable, if there would be any overlap, or you wouldn't, once again, the goal wouldn't be to have something that would compete with the anaerobic digester. His explanation was that
This will complement.
it would be a complement. It wouldn't be, because of the scales of what you're looking for and the scale of which the anaerobic digester of what they'd be looking for is just bulk volume would be much higher than potentially a composting program would be able to handle. Now, once again, this is a request for a feasibility study, and that would be up to the executive as far as to see what would be effective or what kind of composting they would be looking to do as far as scale.
We can, the county executive can coordinate this with the municipalities that are already doing composting in the county, so I don't see it to be a major problem. So there's something should be.
No, and if it's something that-
just the city of Albany and Bethlehem, we can coordinate with what we're doing in the city of Albany. I don't know if Colony has a composter.
Well, they used to.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I have not read this detailed. Are we suggesting the type of composting? For example, are we talking about composting of leaf and brush waste?
It's not really defined in here.
It's not defined.
Well, I mean, should there be language in there that says composting options such as leaf and brush waste, municipal solid waste?
In the first whereas clause, we used organic waste in Albany County, so on and so forth, such as brush, branches, grass clippings, or leaves used for composting.
Yeah, but that's leaf and brush waste. But you have a tremendous amount of organic wastes that the supermarkets have, whether it's Price Chopper or Hannaford or food waste.
Well, food waste is mentioned.
Organic,
In
that's
the
in the first
second-
part.
second whereas.
Second whereas. That's why I wanted to go on.
Well, so you're looking at all,
Looking at all
your
options.
intention is to look at all the options.
Yes.
So for
There's not
example,
gonna be many options, because food waste is handled totally differently.
that was my point.
With the yard waste.
The yard, I mean, we had a yard waste facility in Colony that took up 6 or 7 acres. I mean, it was like 10 football fields in a square and giant windrow turners that did it. And part of that, there was a joint project with the sewer district where they got the sewer district in the town of Colony had an opportunity with the approval of DEC to mix waste with yard waste to accelerate the composting process and still have a product which was able to be utilized for public distribution. So there are quite a few different elements that I think you would want to, expand your definition to say, potential things shall include boom, 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 but not be limited to that. And, but a lot of this is contingent on siting, and it's contingent upon working with local governments and locales, because many of these composting locations are subject to not in my backyard. The one we had in Colony, every once in a while, if the windrows weren't turned correctly.
Just asking the county executive.
Yeah, well, but no, but what I'm saying is,
Colony did a great job with it. We're just asking for a request and he can look at Albany, Colony, Bethlehem, and come together with whoever.
Well, you're-
Work best.
I understand what you're saying. Huh?
How did they do it in Germany?
In Germany, they do it better than we do it, I tell you.
You have to be careful with one thing, though. Let's not
Well, you know
confuse the
what?
composting material with that of the anaerobics. because
That's correct.
Some of that
That's-
stuff cannot go into that
That's-
anaerobics digester.
That is absolutely
system.
correct. Absolutely correct.
One point I want to follow up on that Paul was
Donuts.
alluding to is
Donuts.
that in the case of Bethlehem,
That's what I say, sweet
the facility
flour is
that
good.
we have there, we have, as part of the enabling law that set that up, we are not allowed to take waste from other municipalities. And it was the not in my backyard kind of a feeling that some communities have. They don't want waste coming in from outside their own borders. And frankly, you know, one of the things that I like about this concept that Ralph is putting forward is to actually come up with a regional approach, a regional strategy. And there might be times where it would make sense, for example, in one part of Colony, for that waste to go to a neighboring municipal's facility, which is actually quite close, maybe closer than the one Colony has. So there could be kind of a sharing and a more efficient management of all the resources involved here. And these are resources. This is not waste. There's actually economic value here. And in fact, I could see a future where people, municipalities are going to want some of that material because they can generate revenue from it. That's what's going to happen.
Albany already does it.
Yeah, so my point really
Bill's
is,
motion to move it out favorably.
I mentioned
What's
that
that?
15 minutes ago.
I second Bill's motion. to move it
okay, I just want to make
favorably.
sure that we all are clear that there are a lot of issues here that I think Ralph has done a good job of incorporating most of that into the fairly brief description here, and ultimately the county executive is going to come up with a feasibility study and the scope of work. We're not trying to write a scope of work here.
Correct, and I thank Mr. Russell for putting this resolution together, because it was just an idea that he put everything into words on paper.
I'm sorry I attributed incorrectly.
Is Mr. Signaratis?
Okay, and if there are no more questions, I think Gil was the first one to put forward
Yes,
the
I
motion
did. I
to
made the
approve.
motion several minutes ago, and
Is there a second?
I second it.
Any further discussion?
I think we had enough discussion. I believe for something going for his opinion, his study, we gave a lot of opinions.
Yeah, we did.
I think we ought to listen to the county executive when he comes back with, rather than a lot of our table talk.
It's just
All
a
right.
request.
All in favor?
Only request.
All
That's all it
opposed?
is,
Talk
request.
is good. You're trying to write it, but it makes sense.
Talk is good in certain circumstances.
Come on, you came all the way down here. Do you want to talk while you're here?
All right.
Yeah, but I don't
item number
prolong
6.
nonsense.
Thank you.
Oh, no, we just had it. It passed unanimous, yes, sorry.
Well, then number 6.
Item number 6, adopting the proposed modification to Albany County Agricultural Districts 1, 2, and 3.
Motion to move it.
Is Laura,
We have a guest here on Laura's behalf.
for Laura, if anybody's got any questions? Okay, have a seat. And
You're in the hot seat.
any comment you want to make?
This
And
is
who are
fairly
you?
straightforward. We had a problem with it last
I know
time,
who
and I
you
think there was a typo, so it had to come back to this committee. The hearing was held just a couple weeks ago. There was no public comments on it. It's adding 6 properties for a total of 264 acres, I think it is. And this is part of the annual review period. Every February, it's open, and people can add land to the agriculture district. They can't take land out until an 8-year review, which is what we're working on right now, and you'll be seeing some of that information probably October, November. But
Any
this
questions?
Motion to move it.
Second?
Second.
Thanks, Tom.
All in favor?
Aye.
And the last thing
All
is, we
opposed?
got a family farm day for people that want to attend this.
I'll be there.
We got to support agriculture in our county, so hand it to your grandkids.
All right,
Okay, motion adjourned.
That passed unanimously.
This place sucks sometimes.
Motion to adjourn, Ricky? Second?
I wanted to talk to you about this thing that I want to talk about, so I'm going to talk about it